What's up, everyone? It is Sarah G, and this is GenZ-Gab. Let's get going. It is episode 8. So today we are going to be talking about a lot of things. I mean, we never know what we're really talking about till we get here, right? But anyway, let's get into more of this. This week's Monday Mood, I'm actually going to do kind of in a way because Juneteenth happened this past weekend, and we all know how important it is. It's now a federal holiday, which it always should have been, but we need to talk a little bit more about it, and therefore I'm going to talk about all the kids from Blackish that should get some recognition right now, as well as like the whole show. So if you want to check out good resources, I will link them below like I always do. But especially the two girls on that show have created great strides, as well as, it's just shedding light on stuff that we need to talk about more. And then I will also be giving a link of all the content creators that you should be following right now that are up and coming. I read somewhere that only 37% of creators are Black, and I don't know if that's true because I read 21 to 37 as well. So the point is, it's a smaller amount of creators, and we should definitely go and send some love. As well as Happy Father's Day to all those great dads out there. I have had 3 great role models in my life. My dad, that comes after that, is my late grandpa. Gramps, you were amazing, and I know I should get to see you soon someday. So I really miss you. I appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting me. Dad, same thing goes for you. Thank you for the humor and the obsession with Ted Lasso I would not have without you. As well as, furthermore, finally, my favorite other person, Papa. Thank you so much for just being you, always believing in me and being so sweet to me. And thank you, I know this is kind of funny, but for being Irish and giving me the tanning ability, because nobody believes that Irish people can tan and we get dark. So thank you for that. And anyone that thinks that that's a weird comment, trust me, I'm thankful for the good skin, the good features. My dad always goes to me, you should thank me for your good looks. I think I should thank the man who gave him the good looks. So there we go. So aside from that, I'm going to actually be talking about stuff that I don't usually talk about because we are here, we are ready, and I worked this weekend, so I was really, really happy. I recorded something on Thursday. I was not so great with the technical and whatever that went along with it. I felt like I was rambling. Another behind the scenes that will be mentioned on the Patreon account, just kind of why I state that, a lot of these clips will be just used more in behind the scenes settings because I figured out how to do that, and I've just decided it makes more sense. So as I'm recording on 2 different things right now, my laptop and my phone, I'm hoping to see if I have different angles. So yeah, here's the little production type sidebar for the Patreon users. This is my little home studio. As you can see, I'm kind of balancing things all together in my room, because even though the room has a slight echo, it's easier to understand or comprehend. I don't know. But the point is that each day I'm getting better and better with my audio, regardless of what people say or think. And so we are here. It's balanced. It's beautiful. We'll get through it. And yes, I might get some feedback here. But it is GenZ-Gab, where I talk about raw, unedited moments of my life, your life, who knows. If it can help just one person, that's great. But I'm just here doing me. But anyway, I worked at my usual cookie stand that I work for every summer for the great get-together that is state fairs. If anyone's listening to me, this is today post-injury where I'm feeling great. People will go, what do you mean injury? Well, see, the thing is, now this is me, the kid, if you're listening to this, just know I was just more mad because it hurt like hell. And I really wanted to keep everything in as everyone heard it. I really did not want to swear at you. It fucking hurt, and I am glad I kept everything in, because the last thing I wanted you to do is, because this was like your second season, was ruin it for you. So we're all good. I bruised 2 nails, but it'll be fine. It seems everything works. You can see, you'll see the movement. But anyway, it was because I mistakenly, when I was helping to get ready for something, put my fingers near the drawer, and then I don't know why, but they got caught for some reason, and then anyway, they got jammed really bad in, and that is the start of kind of I'm going to talk a few things besides how great of a place it is to work, but just some of my insane weird work injuries. And people will go, what do you mean insane work, or just stories? Because I have a boatload that I don't think I've ever really shared with people, and a lot of people might find these relatable, or might just say this is the weirdest thing and I never understood how this girl got into them. So so today, finger jam, that happens sometimes. We're all good. Put a little Neosporin on it and a Band-Aid and moved along. At the same cookie stand, my first year that I worked at it, when I was 17, I was telling the story, apparently, because it's a story that maybe has been floating around here and there, but anyway, the way I will tell it versus whoever might have witnessed it, and it's fine, everyone's got their story, but here's what happened from me for anyone watching. I was 17, I was last day or so till the fair, maybe the very last day, or the second to last. And anyway, this guy budges a bunch of people with him and his girlfriend, and then they order like 5 buckets, and I'm getting help from around, sort of. It's my first year, keep in mind, and I'm just trying to figure out my footing, whatever. But anyway, after they were sharing the cookies from the first bucket, the 2 guys got in a fight. But the funny thing is, they like dumped things and like whatever of the cookie. The thing is, the girls start going bad shit, like on each other, like mud wrestling, MMX, whatever, fighting, like cage fighting. I don't know what it was, but I was not, what is going on? And then because I'm just like trying to get like an understanding of what's going on, my face is going, they're really close to me, I'm scared they're gonna just grab me, and I'm gonna somehow be in the fire. I was scared for a variety of reasons, and people meanwhile are getting closer and closer. I run to the back of the hall, and then the 2 managers, which I work with one of them now, which it's all cool, but the 2 managers look at me and are like, what is going on? The guy that ran to the front is one of my good friends and one of my managers now too, but runs to the front and he goes, why did you not want to see the action? And anyway, he was just laughing at how innocent I was being, but it was just, it was fight or flight mode. I am not going to do it. And then when cops came up to me, I was thinking through everything, but no, they just wanted to hear statements from literally the 4 people fighting, which was good. But then I wind up hearing from a different guy that he got a cookie thrown at him after some brawl that just happened outside of it. So I think that just happens sometimes. Otherwise, people, I understand, but what's your craziest work story? I'm moving on to my job at Chipotle. I worked there for 2 months in summer one year, and let me tell you, it was interesting. There were people that would steal from our tip jar, which happens a lot. Let's see, a woman came up to me. I think I've told this story, sort of. But she came up to me, said her name was blah, blah, and then anyway, I heard her kind of doing this once or twice, but anyway, she was going through all this, saying that she worked with a manager I didn't know of. I kept holding the bag that she had before, and I kept saying, no, look, like, we need to, like, give me a second to check up on the manager. She straight up takes the bag before I could even get to this. She's bolting out the door with her kids and her friends, and then she's like, whatever. I am staying like in my spot. I asked one of my coworkers to go get a manager. And right as they were getting the manager, so quickly, that woman just grabbed it before the manager even was able to get it. And the funny thing is, the cop was in the line. There's a lot of things that I just, whatever. What, like, huh? Like, and then a week later, she tried to do the same thing to me. I learned my lesson. I did not let her go near the food for starters, but I did put it immediately to the back so she couldn't grab it. And then the minute I grabbed my manager, he's like, I don't know anybody by that name. And she had apparently conned like 2 other people like me. She started coming in that afternoon because people weren't catching on really, but what the actual fuck? Like, I know this happens, and that's why I give a lot of support to the food service industry, but yeah, holy shit. Like, that was one of the weirdest encounters I had. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because then also, like, a week later, there was a guy just sleeping in the middle of Chipotle, and we didn't know whatever, but we woke him up, and it wasn't what it would have seemed like. So that one's actually more of like a be kind to other people. You don't know how hard they're working for family, whatever. But yeah, if it's just me thinking about it. And then one last cookie story, because this is just an injury story. But I was cleaning like spatulas or one of the scoopers that we have, and it's kind of sharp, right? Like, when I was telling this story to some other people, they totally got it. When I did it, people just started kind of laughing, like, oh, she cut her finger on a spatula. How does she cut her finger on a spatula? Well, scooper, spatula, whatever. Some people think of spatulas as those like rubber things, like, are the plastic things that you mix around, but we didn't really have those. So why would I cut my... But I got distracted by talking to a coworker, kind of, and yeah, whatever. But then I ended up having to go to first aid just to double check, because that was protocol and that was all good. But yeah, who knows what half this stuff is? Because I swear to God, I just sit here like wondering, what is my life? Like, yes and no, but we don't even know what we're doing half the time, and we're just making it up as we go along, as what I've noticed. But it's just so funny how a lot of people go, behind every great story, there's the truth. So my truth versus other people's truth, who knows? But that's why people go, speak your truth. So yeah. We're working through it. We're getting through it. We're all in. And so on. I cannot get over, though, how excited, though, I will go back to the fair this year. I don't care. I love that job. When I get injured, though, those are like the people who actually, like, they really care about what's going on. And not like the fake, like, oh my God, here's a lawyer, here's liability kind of thing. No. Like, they actually genuinely take, like, care of you and want to make sure that you're completely good. So why would I ever want to leave a job with such amazing humans and bosses, you know? Just because you don't like everyone or don't like every part of work, there's so many jobs in this world that I would always probably choose that job over any, because they treat their workers so well. And I just wanted to shed light and talk about that, because it's been an amazing experience. I worked there for like 5 seasons. Gotta love when college starts earlier and you can't do it, or when a pandemic hits and you can't work on it. But it's been so fun, such a blast. It really is a community over there. And so I really just wanted to talk about that, because as far as jobs go, not a lot of people have a lot of that. And so many people are willing to work the whole fair. And I think about that where I go, I'm probably only signing up for like 8 to 10 days. But you know what? Technically, I worked 12 days because I worked 2.5 days this year. So far, and so forth. I will say that I give a lot of love to the people who work till close, because I realized slowly this weekend why I don't usually work till close. And by the way, it's more of I I'm not the best cleaner. I don't really like cleaning. It's not like, I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, I'll clean for basic, like, what do you mean by cleaning? Well, I mean, like, deep scrubbing cleaning, like, very much getting every little detail down. And, I can do that in the mornings when nothing's really been, like, piled on throughout the day. Like, you try to work and clean and keep things. And by the way, I will say, it is one of the cleanest places possible. I am not exaggerating, especially when I got back into it in a closed situation last night. You have to, especially because you have to make sure with all the stuff that's going on that everything is clean. So that's super good. That being said, I, though tired, my feet hurting, and we were swamped yesterday, I realized I held it in pretty well, but I probably wasn't as kind as I could have been. But I feel like everybody gets there at some points, and we're only human, so that's good. But I honestly could not just stop thinking about how much people go, oh my gosh, how many cookies do you eat? What do you eat? What do you eat? When do you eat them? One thing is that I'm sad about. The problem is those cookies are so good. They smell so good. I can't eat gluten or soy for health reasons, not like cutesy reasons. Like, oh my God, I can't eat this. Okay. Or Kourtney Kardashian's house. Let me just smell it. Let me just smell it just a little bit. Let me smell it. And I'm like, okay. No. We are not doing that. We are not going to be a fan of Noom, Goop, or any of those fun names. Immediately when I saw that her and Gwyneth Paltrow were teaming up, I went like, no, not this happening. Not this happening. But are we really surprised with how everything is going down right now with any of the stuff that they've been doing? Are we really surprised? Again, Marilyn Monroe's dress got ruined, and I don't care what Ripley says. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it one bit. So we can continue to do whatever, look the other way, but it's like, I love it when it's like, this is my year by all of them in the Valley Girl voice. This is my year. Okay, cool. When has it never been your year? And I don't even care because like so many psychologists, etc., have mentioned this, but Chris has narcissistic tendencies, so that doesn't surprise why all the girls are like flash, 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 because they want to be the favorite. They want their approval and all that, like any other girl. And Kourtney's the only one that's ever called her mom out on that, at least. So we're good there. But yeah, I was like, come on, Kourtney, Chloe, you used to be semi-real, semi-relatable, and then what happened? And skyrocketed, weight loss, and a bunch of plastic surgery, aka a little bit LA. So, yeah, we really want to get into it, which we don't. I mean, I laugh at all the housewife drama. I don't really watch them anymore just because of a variety of reasons, but oh my God, like, oh, what is going on? And the fact of the matter is, like, moving on is Lisa Rinna's whole thing about, like, what she does and whatever, and Celebrity Memoir Book Club have touched on all of them, but can we just take a moment to be like, Lisa Rinna, Lisa, I know you blocked my other boss at one point, Lulu. Lulu, we love you. We love that. I love that. We as a society love that, Lulu. But Lisa, don't act like you're so much holier or better than all these other mamas, okay? Because you literally, as everyone said, you've hurt your girls way more than you would ever think. They have all the problems because of you. Maybe a little bit their dad, but you are a lot of the reason of that. And then the spotlight, etc., etc. So, yeah, we know some of the comments you made about some of the other toxic mamas, and oh my gosh, aren't they? Oh my gosh, yeah. But we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that at all, because here's the thing, it's the battle of not the wits, not the smarts, not the anythings. It's the battle of the rich, whatever. Rich bitch who snitches on everyone. And we all know some of the like financial stuff that you're hiding, and you can say whatever, like all these other people, but it does not matter, because at the end of the day, the only thing you're really going to be known for at the end is the Real Housewives, not your acting career. Which, isn't that a little sad? which is maybe why you're trying to profit so much off in the same way. And don't even get me started on the whole Denise Richards, Charlie Sheen, Sammy thing, because I have no clue where to go with that. But if you're going to start shaming, yes, I understand because she shamed, but don't even and don't even try to get your girls to go in that vortex or whatever. But yeah, everyone's being like, is this and that. And here's the thing, I don't even want to spend time. You can Google what's going on in that moment, but I'd say for the parents that girl has, it's not gonna be easy, and it wasn't gonna be whatever, and all those people saying she had rules, this and that. I don't know, man. I don't know what the heck's going on, so let's just leave it out there, and people go, oh, an influencer, whatever, I don't know. And as we wrap up, I do want to shed a tiny bit of light on the whole Cooper Noriega situation, because I think that it's important that we talk once again about mental health, regardless of all my little jokes or whatever, me standing up to society goes that route. But I do truly believe that his Discord was so beautiful, and I don't know too much. I never got to meet him. I never crossed paths with him, and I'm a micro influencer, but aside from that, I've met some other people, but I never even crossed paths with him. And I just want to say I truly want to keep that conversation going, because again, mental health matters, addiction matters, recovery, all those things matter. You as a person matter, no matter what anybody says, no matter how critical anyone can be towards you, even your own self. And people go, well, self-criticalness is your own worst enemy, all that kind of stuff. But see, the thing is that criticalness comes from somebody else who started that, and then it's like a cycle. And that's what I think Gen Z's learning, to try to break the cycle, as we joke, or millennials, but it's where we're trying so hard to find our own way in or out. And that's why, for me, I think my mental health gets worse when it's you have to ask this person and that person to get a job. And by the way, I'm circling back to the cookie stand, because there's a lot of people who know a lot of people, and I don't know these people, so I go around and try to ask these people if they can get me a job. And of course, right now, jobs aren't hiring a lot for marketing, and I completely understand. I understand that, but it's just so frustrating. It's people understand, again, I am friendly and outgoing, but I'm not this extroverted person that would just be, I mean, maybe to some they would feel that way, but I personally don't know these people as well, so I would rather just kind of go around hey, can you answer my name? Can you put me in this kind of slot? So, but the reason why it is so bad is because I'm trying to understand and learn and grow from my own stuff that I had growing up of trauma or whatever. And yeah, I honestly will say one thing, because again, I've mentioned ADHD, dyslexia, all those things. I've had a lot of emotional damage in my life. I don't want to even get into it, because this isn't, anybody goes, yeah, whatever, I could be better, could be worse. And yes, I know how much worse other people have it, but remember, once again, if it hurts you still, or it feels like a wound or trauma, it is valid and it matters. And I think that was kind of the point. It wasn't completely the point, but what Cooper was trying to kind of keep the whole conversation open to talk about, because then our feelings matter more. You can't just keep things bottled up, or we can't just keep these conversations at a stop, or whatever, because that doesn't get anywhere. Other great creators that I love that talk about this stuff, Connor DeWolf and Elise Myers. I always mention Elise, but that's because she's really, truly my spirit animal in a lot of these cases. Andrew Brandeis, I can't pronounce everything right, and I understand, and people go, oh, maybe you should edit that out, or you should really get the pronunciations right. Yes, I completely agree. But again, to be my raw, true, authentic self on this podcast, I kind of want to keep some of that stuff in. I do want to get the right pronunciation down for a lot of things. I think that is so important, especially to a lot of identities and a lot of life. But when it comes to flow in a podcast and how I'm talking and trying to see things, life is messy. Life is full of mistakes. that's a mistake, obviously, I make, and I'm so sorry if I offend anyone with how I pronounce. And I'm not even saying it's because of my accent, because of this, because of that. And yes, we owe it, especially in our society, to try to be better, about how we pronounce people's names, because their names are their identity. I know I've done this multiple times with my own last name, Gallagher, Gallagher. People always call me Gallagher. I do correct them. Everybody adds an H to my name. Doesn't work, okay? I do try my best to correct people, but I do at the sometimes go, it doesn't matter. And then I think, well, maybe it does matter. I also think, again, it gets into that whole women, what we say versus what we do, whatever. So there's a lot of things running around in my mind as we close down this fantastic podcast. And I'm super grateful for each and every one of you. Once again, I love seeing that people around the world are finding comfort in me too, as well. Or hopeful comfort. I don't know. It makes me think of that iCarly season 2. Yes, Sarah is mentioning this again, but it's because I once again think that I kind of molded after Carly's original plan, because I do content creation. She tried content creator, theater, acting, all that. I think a lot of us are in that kind of whole realm of difference, trying to get somewhere. And so there could be a lot more said about all that, but as I need to wrap up here, we don't have a clue. We don't need to know fully again where we're coming from, but just know that if you ever feel stressed out by all the little things that you need to do, just remember, take a deep breath, write down what you think you need to do, think about what's my healthy boundaries, try to stick to them, because once you start doing that, and I know I'm not the only one who's ever said that, but once you start doing that, things become less stressful to yourself. And tones, etc., become better. And I also want to say, though, this is not like toxic positivity, because I understand we're going to have good and bad days, but I'm trying not to even push you to being your best self or your most true, authentic self, or here are the 5 steps to being the happier, healthier person. Like, I don't see that. I have learned through a bunch of trial and error how some of those things don't work, but people go, it doesn't hurt to try. Well, with how much our society is, sometimes it does hurt to try. So as I keep going on this route of GenZ-Gab and kind of learning and thriving my own ways, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As well as just, again, tell me what your thoughts are or what you want to talk about more. Because, again, I'm very open to hear what my listeners want to hear. It can be, again, just what I'm doing with my life, even though I seem like I talk a lot about that. Like, what should I give, like, movie feedback? Like, what I think people should be watching, like I did a few weeks ago. It's all, once again, within reason. Pretty much anything goes. So, yeah. Again, within reason. I need people to realize it's within reason, okay? Because that's my healthy boundary to you. And I might not do it if it's whatever, obviously. But, yeah, so let's gab soon. See you guys.